Well, I was born in Sydney, but I moved from Sydney to Papua New Guinea when I was a baby. So I grew up on a coffee plantation in New Guinea. And I moved to Australia when I was 9. So I didn't grow up really speaking English as my first language. I spoke English, but I mean to all of my friends and people who lived, around my house and stuff, we all spoke Pidgin English. So I think that sort of shaped a little bit of who I am. I feel great about my body. Today I feel great about my body. Some days, I'm like everyone else, I guess. I wake up and I think, oh my God, what the hell were you ever thinking, for 1 second thinking you were even pretty? You know what I mean? I think that you kind of look at yourself and you go, how did anyone ever kiss this face? And then, you just get over it, get on with it, and another good day comes. Well, you see, for me, how modelling has affected the way that I view myself is I never really wanted to model. It was something that I fell into, when I was in my sort of late teens, I fell into it, and I didn't strive to be a model. It was never any pressure on me from my family. This is, being beautiful is important, or, being pretty, or, I was very much a tomboy, and I think that the way that modelling has, at first, I remember going to my first photo shoot and the photographer, made a comment to me about, your skin, and, your skin's very important, and, I think I had a few marks on my skin, and he just made me feel like about it a little bit, and I was like, I just never thought that was, that had me feeling a bit insecure. From then on, I was psychotic about having clear skin, and even to this day, I won't even I put paper towel to wipe my face and not towels, because I'm terrified that some bacteria is going to come and give me bad skin. And I think that was it, that kind of shaped me. It had the ability to kind of shape me in a terrible way, but also it made me kind of wise up to the fact that I don't care. I get booked, I get booked on jobs, but I think I get booked on jobs more for my personality, to be honest, than the way that I look. I think that, the way that I look, it definitely has a huge amount to do with it, but I think that people book me because I am fun to work with. So I think it's shaped me in a way that's just, if anything, it's taught me not to give a Yeah, what is it like working in an industry that commodifies women's beauty? I think that's a tough question, and I think there's potential for it to impact women in a really positive way and not in a negative way, and I think that we're slowly getting there. I definitely think that there was, I hear stories of people feeling very exploited and women being very exploited, and yeah, definitely, there is money being made off people's insecurities, foundations and beauty brands and all that kind of stuff. But I think that more and more people are realizing that making people feel like about themselves doesn't always sell products. Sometimes making people feel good about themselves and having a positive image out there and selling something positive, that's a good thing. And I feel like more and more brands are moving towards that. So I think that it doesn't feel great if it was going to stay in a negative way. I feel like it's changing, and I hopefully, can be around to see that change. My skin, I like my skin. It's just, brown and always kind of tanned, and yeah, it's something that people give me lots of compliments about my skin and say, you've got lovely skin, and I don't know, I like it. I like that, I take care of it, but at the same time, I like that I can go out in the sun and, I come back and I get this nice, golden color, and it's who I am. And it's something that, as much as people, it makes me different, and I like that. It makes me different. It made me different when I was a kid, growing up in a very, white, suburban kind of place, and I liked being different, so my skin. Working as a model and, you know, working in Australia, like I feel like, yeah, I am different, like straight away. You know, my hair was much curlier, and you know, my skin was browner, and yeah, I didn't look like your typical Aussie beach babe, you know what I mean? Apart from being bigger as well, like, you know, I was sort of, but that's why I love modeling for that reason, because sometimes I feel like, you know, they're booking me for a reason. Like, you know, sometimes they're booking me because they're like, yeah, we want other girls to see you and feel beautiful, and you know, girls don't have to look like this girl to, you know, feel good about themselves, or, you know, and I guess it's, yeah, I like it. I like being different. If I had a young daughter, I would hope that the way she felt about herself would be strong. That's it, just strong. I grew up in New Guinea, right, you know, for a lot of my formative years, and you know, I just saw a lot of, you know, I saw a lot of people who didn't have access to really great medical care, and, you know, really simple things turned into really big things, you know, minor cuts, minor, you know, sicknesses turned into these debilitating kind of, you know, issues. And for me, I never really had I just felt incredibly grateful to have a body that worked. Like, for me, that's all that matters. And I think when you get young girls coming in to model and they don't have the ability to kind of, or the maturity, I guess, to draw on their life experience, you know, what's happened before them, before their modeling career, I think that it's dangerous, because then their life becomes about the way that they look, and that very much shapes their identity, you know, their deeper self. And I think that's really, really tough. So I think girls should only really start modeling when they're a little bit older, because then they have that ability, like I had when I was, you know, an older teenager, where I could kind of go, you know what, like I could sometimes, I would work so hard to get a job, and I'd get that job and I'd walk off the set and think, oh, they hated me. Or like, you know, I didn't do this right, or I didn't do that right. And then at the end of the day, I could just go, you know what, like, this, man, like, I'm walking, I'm alive, my legs work, my body works, and like, you know, it. I'm just gonna be happy, and I'm gonna be grateful that I had that experience. Whereas I don't think, if you were really young and you were 15 or something, I don't think you'd be able to do that. I don't think you'd have the strength within you to kind of just sever all ties and just go, I'm more than this, I'm more than my job, I'm more than what other people think of me, I am, you know, I'm all these other things. What is one word I would be horrified to find out that people would say about me? Nasty. And yeah, I wouldn't want it if someone thought that I was deliberately mean. I wouldn't like that. I love today because I feel like we can come together and we can be real about our lives and the way we feel about ourselves as women, and the way we felt about ourselves as girls, and the way we, you know, continue to grow and change. And I think it's really important that we can kind of reflect on that in a really real way, and not be sugarcoating it and saying, you know, everything's amazing all the time, or everything's all the time. Because, you know, life is just about being balanced, and, you know, good things will happen and bad things will happen, and you just got to get through. One word that I would use to describe myself would be curious. I think I'm very curious. Sometimes it's really bad, and sometimes it's really good. And it's the way that I learn, and I think that that's curious is hopefully the word that I would use. Yeah.
What's one word that you hope your friends and loved ones would use to describe you as?
I would hope that they would use the word kind and compassionate, if I can have two. I think that, yeah, I just hope, you know, life is hard as it is, and I don't want people to, I don't want to be a source of anyone else's pain or burden or, yeah. So I would hope that they would think that I was a kind, nice person, and I was, yeah, I think being healthy means, I think it means accepting yourself, and I think it means seeking contentment, you know, with all aspects of your life. Like, you know, you want to be, you know, you're not always going to be happy, and you can't always strive to be happy, and you can't always strive, you just have to know that, like, that, you know, to take in all the aspects of life means that sometimes you'll have to feel that empathy for someone, which will make you feel sad, and it will make you feel unhappy or angry, or, you know, and I just want, I would think that, you know, seeking contentment is really important, and seeking acceptance in every part of your life, and being able to kind of draw on everything that you have to just sort of build a whole life for yourself. That, you know, being healthy is just not just about focusing on your body, and it's not just about focusing on your, you know, your job, or, you know, just one little thing that you're doing right or wrong. It's about everything, and it's about the bigger picture. And I think that's, you know, I think the world would be a healthier place if everyone sort of took that view.